Welcome back. All right, busy Saturday, and I'm breaking one of my own rules. I'm wearing a jersey of a team that's against the Canucks. I have reasons, and we'll get to that. So, hockey all day on Saturday means recording it Friday night, posting it to the channel on Saturday, starting with 12:30 Eastern, which is 9:30 a.m. Pacific, also known as pretty early in Europe if you want to watch it. It's Anaheim and Buffalo, though, so I don't know. I don't know how watchable this is going to be, but it's the first game. I've got a board already made up for it. I've got my fingers crossed it's an entertaining game because it's going to get its own video. So this is the first of two meetings. They'll meet again on February the 15th. For the Ducks, they're 13, 28, and 5 overall. For the month of January, they're 3, 5, and 1. I also have for each team a player that I'd like to see pick up the scoring. Now that we're past the halfway mark, we're getting up to the All-Star break. There's usually guys who go on a bit of a run after the All-Star break. So for Anaheim, I picked Max Comtois. 5 goals, 3 assists, 8 points, always around the net. Very snake bit. It's 2 years in a row now. The Ducks won their last game. They're 20 points behind Colorado for that last playoff spot. Colorado is above the playoff line right now. Buffalo, 22, 19, and 3. January, they've been 4, 5, and 1 thus far. Peyton Krebs is the one I picked for Buffalo. 4 goals, 6 assists for 10 points. They won their last game. They are 6 points back of Pittsburgh. So they're still in the hunt. They need a win. In order to stay in the hunt, all they have to do is beat Anaheim. We'll see. Anaheim's been a tough out lately. And then at noon Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern, we have the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Calgary Flames. Tampa Bay won the first meeting at home, 4-1 on November 17th. We'll see how this one goes. Tampa Bay, 29, 14, and 1. The month of January, they're 6 and 3. Anthony Cirelli was my pick for Tampa. 21 games, 2 goals, 8 assists, 10 points. They did lose their last game. They are third in the Atlantic. They are 10 points clear of the Florida Panthers for third. Calgary, 21, 16, and 9. The month of January, 3, 3, and 2. Huberdeau was my pick for them. 8 goals, 23 assists, 31 points. Yep, going to keep beating that dead horse. Eventually, he's going to turn it around. They've lost their last 2 in regulation. They are now tied with Colorado, but they're below the playoff line, and they're 2 points clear of St. Louis. So for Calgary, things are getting kind of murky kind of quick here. 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. We have the Minnesota Wild and the Florida Panthers getting things started. This is the first of 2 meetings. They'll meet in Minnesota on February the 13th. For Minnesota, they're 25, 15, and 4. They're January. They've been 4, 2, and 2. Sam Steele's my pick for them, more along the lines of goals. I'd like to see more goals from him. He has 8 goals, 14 assists, 22 points. Lost their last game. They are 3 points clear of Colorado in third place. So Colorado is within shouting distance to third place in the division already. Florida, 22, 20, and 5 is their overall record. In the month of January, they're 6, 3, and 1. Eric Stahl, 7 goals, 7 assists, 14 points. I think he's been playing really well the last month, so I could see him having a good run here. They did win their last game, of course, and they're 4 points back of Pittsburgh. So they were cheering for Ottawa tonight. That did not turn out in their favor. And then at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, we get 4 games starting then. Philadelphia and Detroit are the first one to talk about here. This is the first of 3 meetings. They'll meet again March the 5th as well as March 25th. Philadelphia is 19, 20, and 7. The month of January, they're 6 and 3, so that's not bad. Noah Cates was my pick for them. 5 goals, 12 assists, 17 points, but he's been very prominent in recent games. They did lose their last game, disappointingly against Chicago. That leaves them 8 points behind Pittsburgh currently. For Detroit, they are 19, 17, and 8. Month of January has been tough, 3, 5, and 1. Andrew Kopp, 4 goals, 21 assists, 25 points. They won their last game. They're 7 points back of Pittsburgh. So this is a battle of 2 teams trying to keep themselves in the hunt. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between San Jose and Columbus. This is the first of 2 meetings. They'll meet again March the 14th. San Jose, 14, 23, and 9 is their overall record for the month of January. They're 3, 3, and 2. There's a lot of teams with really mediocre records in January. I'm kind of surprised when I wrote all this down. Lindblom, 4 goals, 7 assists, 11 points. I think we'll see some more scoring from him after the All-Star break. They won their last game. They are 14 points behind Colorado for the last playoff spot. For Columbus, they're 13, 30, and 2. In the month of January, they're 2 and 8. Cole Sillinger, 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. I think the offense is still there, and we'll see when that really starts to show up in more abundance. They've lost 3 in a row in regulation. They're 25 points behind Pittsburgh for the last playoff spot. And right now, they lead the sweepstakes for Connor Bedard. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between Toronto and Montreal as we continue Hockey Day in Canada, and we have 3 all-Canadian matchups, which is good because we've had Hockey Day in Canada where not very many matchups between the Canadian teams. So October 12th, Montreal won this matchup 4-3. The 3rd and 4th meetings will be February the 18th and April the 8th. Normally, they're on a Saturday. They like the Hockey Night in Canada ratings. Toronto, 28-11-7 overall. In January, they're 5-3-1. Morgan Rielly, no goals for him yet to go with 21 assists. They've won 2 in a row. They're second in the division. They're 4 points clear of Tampa. Montreal, 19-24-3. Their month of January, 4-5 thus far. Dodonov is my pick for them. I think that he's been better lately. 4 goals, 8 assists, 12 points. We'll see if that continues. They lost their last game. They're 12 points behind Pittsburgh for that last playoff spot now. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, the Winnipeg Jets in against the Ottawa Senators. The first meeting was December the 20th. That was won 5-1 by Winnipeg. Winnipeg's 29-16-1 the month of January. Has been kind to them, 6-3. Nick Ehlers, since returning, 10 games, 3 goals, 10 assists, 13 points. I'm focusing on goals with Ehlers as well. I think the goals will pick up. They've lost 2 in a row. They're still second in their division. They're 5 points ahead of Minnesota. On the Ottawa side of things, they're 20-22-3 with the loss tonight. Their month of January now 4-5. That's not trending in the right direction. Shane Pinto, 11 goals, 7 assists, 18 points. He's been generating more offense lately, not getting the results, but at least he started generating again. They've lost 1 in a row. Of course, that was to Pittsburgh, and they now sit 10 points back of a playoff spot. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific start between the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Islanders. On October 28th, the Islanders won this matchup 6-2. So the December 10th meeting was the 3-0 win for Carolina. The 4th meeting will be on April the 2nd. So for Carolina, they're 28-9-8. They're January 4-3-2. So they've won less than half of their games in January. Kokaniemi's my pick. Yep, there's another dead horse I'm beating on that one too. 7 goals, 9 assists, 16 points. Hey, you know, I there's certain players I wait for the offense from, and sometimes I wait for the offense until their careers are done and still waiting. So they won their last game. They're in first place. They're 2 points ahead of the New Jersey Devils. The New York Islanders, 23-19-5. It's been a rough January. They're 2-5-3 in the month of January. Sebastian Aho is my pick for them. 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points. But with Pellick out, he's really been a key guy, and I think there's some offense there too. They had an overtime loss in their last game. That was against Buffalo. They're 2 points behind Pittsburgh now for that last playoff spot in the East. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific start between Dallas and Arizona. Dallas won the first meeting 7-2, which means there should be a no mercy magnet. Yeah, I'll go over and grab it, sure. You guys can discuss things amongst yourselves. Have a talk about, you know, how absolutely awful the Canucks management has been treating their coach. Anyways, 7-2 win for Dallas on November the 3rd. The 3rd and 4th meetings will be March 1st and March the 31st. Arizona 14-26-5 in the month of January. They are 1-9. Barrett Hayden, he's been prominent lately too. 5 goals, 9 assists, 14 points. They've been waiting on him to develop into a top 6 forward. Maybe it's time. They did lose their last game. They're 18 points behind Colorado. They've lost, 10 out of 11? It's been a rough time for them. So for Dallas, they're 27-13-7. They're January, not stellar either. They're 4-4-1 in the month of January. Gurianov, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. Really low totals, and at least he was generating in the last game. Maybe he's going to start getting things going. He can be streaky. They did win their last game, of course, over LA. They are first in the division. They're 2 points clear of Winnipeg, which, honestly, this division is really, really wide open. And, oh, look, Colorado's coming. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific start between Chicago and St. Louis. The last time these teams met, Chicago was not doing well. Chicago's done much better. So the first meeting was November 16th. It was a 5-2 win for St. Louis. They had a 3-2 win as well on December 29th. The 4th meeting will be March the 30th. So Chicago looking for their first win against the Blues. They're 13-26-4 on the season. In January, they're 5-3. Kane, 8 goals, 21 assists, 29 points. And I said before they started winning, they'd started playing better. But yeah, 29 points for Kane. I have him on the board because I think he's going to have a lot of fun after the All-Star break. Probably not in Chicago, but I think his scoring will go up. With winning 2 in a row, they've pulled themselves within 21 points of the playoffs. So, getting close. On the St. Louis side, they're 23-20-3. Their January's been pretty good. They've been 6-3. Jake Neighbors, 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points. Very prominent as well over the last couple of weeks. Could be some offense there from him. They've won 2 in a row. They're 2 points behind Colorado for that last playoff spot. So if they can get a win, and if Calgary and Colorado lose, you end up with this big old schmozzle going for that second wildcard spot. Speaking of which, Nashville would like to make it a 4-team race. I mean, it already is, but they'd like to get these teams as closely bunched as possible. At 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific, LA is in Nashville. LA won the first meeting on October 18th in a shootout, 4-3. The third and final meeting will be on March the 11th. So for LA, they're 25-16-6. They're January. They've been 4-3. Byfield, 18 games, 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points. I think he's been very good since getting recalled. They've lost 2 in a row. They're third in the division. They're only 1 point ahead of these guys now. Edmonton's right there. For Nashville, they're 21-18-6. They're January. They've been 6-4. Parsonen has been great for them, really. 5 goals, 13 assists, 18 points. Really like his game. They did lose their last game against St. Louis. They're 3 points behind Colorado, so they're not far out either. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific start between the Colorado Avalanche and the Seattle Kraken. So Colorado, the first meeting went to Seattle on October 21st by a score of 3-2. The third and final meeting will be on March the 5th. Colorado, 24-17-3. They're now a team that other teams are chasing for the playoffs. Their January's 5-4, but they've been good. They bottomed out with that game against Chicago. They've been good since then. O'Connor, 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points. I really have been very impressed with O'Connor. I think there's more finish there. They've won 4 in a row. They are the second wild card. They're tied with Calgary. They're above the playoff line, though, and they're 2 points clear of St. Louis. Seattle, 27-14-4, or should I call them the Pacific Division leading Seattle Kraken? Because they are. They're 9-2 in the month of January. Bjorkstrand, 7 goals, 15 assists, 22 points. A guy that I do expect more offense from, at least in terms of goals. They did win their last game. They're first, tied with Vegas for first, and they're 2 points ahead of the LA Kings. So the Pacific is very, very close. And again, for Seattle, if they can start winning games more regularly at home, they've got a really good chance of winning the division. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific start between the Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. It's been a split series thus far. I'm taking Edmonton for tomorrow because I don't think the Canucks have anything. I really don't. I think this is where they just fall right off that proverbial cliff. That Eastern Coast swing, they just didn't look the same tonight against Colorado. And I don't expect that to change. For Edmonton, they're 26-18-3, and they're coming in red hot. They're January 6-2-1 overall. Holloway's the pick for me for Edmonton. 3 goals, 6 assists. I think he can have a very good run after the All-Star break. They've won 5 in a row. They're the number 1 wild card. They're 4 points clear of Colorado. But as I said, they're only 1 point behind LA, meaning they're within a few points of first place in the division. So really interesting. Vancouver, 18-24-3. They're interesting for all the wrong reasons. They're 2-7 now in the month of January. Studnicka, 25 games, 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 points. It's possible when the deadline's done, he plays a more prominent role. He's a hard worker, I will say that. They've lost 2 in a row, and they're 12 points behind Colorado for that last playoff spot. 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific start between the Washington Capitals and the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas won the first meeting 3-2 in overtime on November 1st in Washington, but Vegas is better on the road than they are at home. Washington, 25-17-6. They're January, mediocre, 4-4-1. Backstrom, 6 games played since his return and 3 assists. He's due for some goals. He's due for some points. He has been generating. I would expect more from him as he gets back into game shape. They did win their last game. They're the first wild card, but they're only 3 points clear of Pittsburgh, so they got to keep things going. For Vegas, they're 28-16-4. They're January. They're 3-4 thus far. So again, a lot of teams above the playoff line going through what we would call the January blues. Just this is, it's that time of year where things just get to be a mess. And in Vegas' case, also injuries are causing this record to fall apart. Cotter is my pick for Vegas. 6 goals, 3 assists, 9 points. You always get an honest effort out of Cotter. They've lost 3 in a row in regulation. They're second in the division, technically tied with Seattle, but below Seattle in the overall standings. And they're 2 points clear of LA. So for Vegas, they go from looking like they were home and cleared. It's not that long ago they were 8 points clear as first in the division. Now things aren't quite as clear. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always, including your winners. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.